there's been quite an influx across the borders, and that has actually been one of the things that's allowed unemployment rate to rise.
Where do you see risk that further labor market cooling will have to come through job losses?
So on the job creation, it depends on the inflows, right? So if you're having millions of people come into the labor force, and you're creating 100,000 jobs, you're going to see unemployment go up. So it really depends on what's the trend underlying the volatility of people coming into the country. We understand there's been quite an influx across the borders, and that has actually been one of the things that's allowed unemployment rate to rise. And the other thing is just the slower hiring rate, which is something we also watch carefully. So it does depend on what's happening on the supply side.
How do you respond to the criticism that will likely come that a deeper rate cut now before the election has some political motivations?
Yeah, so this is my fourth presidential election at the Fed, and it's always the same. We're always going into this meeting in particular and asking what's the right thing to do for the people we serve, and we do that, and we make a decision as a group, and then we announce it, and that's always what it is. It's never about anything else. Nothing else is discussed, and I would also point out that the things that we do really affect economic conditions for the most part with a lag. So nonetheless, this is what we do. Our job is to support the economy on behalf of the American people. And if we get it right, this will benefit the American people significantly. So this really concentrates the mind. And, it's something we all take very, very seriously. We don't put up any other filters. I think if you start doing that, I don't know where you stop. And so we just don't do that.
So we've heard some speculation that you may be going with the federal funds rate to 3.5%, maybe under 4%. And there's basically an entire generation that has experienced zero or near zero federal funds rate. Now, some think we're heading in that direction again. What's the likelihood that cheap money is now the norm?
So this is a question. You mean after we get through all of this? It's just a great question that we can only speculate about. Intuitively, many people anyway would say we're probably not going back to that era where there were trillions of dollars of sovereign bonds trading at negative rates, long-term bonds trading at negative rates. And it looked like the neutral rate might even be negative. So people were issuing debt at negative rates. It seems that's so far away now. My own sense is that we're not going back to that. But, honestly, we're going to find out. But it feels to me and that the neutral rate is probably significantly higher than it was back then. How high is it? I just don't think we know. We only know it by its works.